Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to THR Touring Car League Round 6 from Silverstone. After a few technical difficulties, we are live on YouTube now for the qualifying for the Registered Ginetta Junior Championship. As you can see from the track map, we are running the Silverstone International layout this evening, covering the back end of the circuit, with the starting grid being on the international starting grid as seen in bigger events such as Formula 1. My name is Ben Phelan and I'll be taking you through all of tonight's action. We have 5 different championship rounds tonight. The Registered Ginetta Junior Championship, as you can see on screen, the Automotive Racing UK Renault Clio Cup, the hard compound Ginetta Supercup, British Touring Car Chat Porsche Carrera Cup GB, and finally, to conclude the night, the BTCC Blueprints Touring Car Championship. So as we can see here on screen, Iceman currently leading the qualifying, a 1:13.4, 7/10 clear of Rocket in second. Gary from Class B back in tonight after his magnificent performance at Snetterton last week in third. Can he improve on his time? He does not. So we'll have a quick look at the standings for this championship. After 5 rounds, it's currently Jack who leads on 131 points, 3 points clear of D-Biggs in second. Matahimovic, as you can see on screen now, in third on 124, just 7 points off the lead. And then it's a big 41 point gap back to Iceman in fourth on 90 points, with Keegs rounding out the top 5 on 86. So all still to play for in this championship with 3 rounds left, including tonight. 7 points covering the top 3. We're in for an exciting race. In the comments, good evening to Neil J, NJ, good evening to Matthew Duffin, aka Matahimovic, who's on screen now, and Automotive Racing UK, our Renault Clio Cup sponsors. Good evening to you guys also. So we're going to hop on board Matahimovic for a lap of the Silverstone International circuit. Coming through the final corner here, club corner, on the power nice and early. And here we go for a lap of the Silverstone International circuit in the Registered Ginetta Junior Championship with Matahimovic. Easing off the throttle through Abbey, staying in 4th gear. It's really important to keep the car nice and settled through. Up to Village now, down to 2nd gear. Very important in these slower cars to keep a nice rhythm, nice and smooth throughout the whole track. Through the links now to Beckett's. Very important to get a good run out onto the hanger straight. Some of the viewers might recognise this part of the track from the traditional Silverstone GP circuit before additional improvements were made to extend the track. Up to Stowe now, back to 3rd for Matahimovic, keeping it nice and tight to that apex, getting a good run out down through Vale. And dropping 2 gears back to 2nd then for club corner as he just runs a little bit deep, gets the power down early to get the car turned in, making sure not to take too much curb on the inside there as it can throw you off. And we come across Matahimovic. Does improve on his lap time but stays 5th for now with a 1:14.5. Iceman currently in the pits, leading by 1 second over championship leader Jack. Rocket currently in 3rd, a good showing from him now. Does he improve on his time? He does not. Just to remind all the viewers as well, for the qualifying session, the tyres are relatively cold and they'll start on nice warm tyres for the race, so a lot of the guys just would be careful now in the qualifying session, making sure to get in a nice clean lap to put themselves as far up the grid as possible. Gary back in 4th, 1.3 seconds off Iceman, who's in the pits as we mentioned. Must feel confident that no one's going to take his top spot. Manahimovic in 5th, who we were just on board with. D Biggs in 6th, Keegs in 7th, Rebby in 8th, Big Boy Brazier in 9th, Starscream 10th, Suddy Apex in 11th. Any improvement from him? No improvement that time. KJ Argent in 12th, kicking up a bit of dirt there. TMLS in 13th, another Class B driver joining the Class A tonight. We wish you the best of luck. And Min Adam in 14th as well, who has a bit of lagging issues, so hopefully we won't see him on the grass too much tonight. So with just a minute and a half left to go, Iceman currently in the pits. Manahimovic has moved up to 2nd now, 8/10s off, just 1/100th of a second ahead of Jack in 3rd. We can see a good trail of Ginetta's here down the Hangar Straight. Slipstream will be an important part of the racing here tonight. Quite a relatively short lap for these drivers. Lots of overtaking opportunities though, so it should be in for some really good racing tonight. So as we come through here now, any improvement from Manahimovic? Can he get closer to Iceman? No improvement that time around. Does Jack improve? He does not either. So the top 3 remain the same. The top 4, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, all 8/10s off the leader. So looks like it's going to be a very close race between Manahimovic, Jack, and D Biggs. They'll have to work together to keep up with Iceman, who still remains in the pits with just 25 seconds left to go in this session. TMLS 313 from Class B, can he improve on his time? Currently sitting 13.6 seconds off. He should hope to improve as we have the checker flag out for qualifying. He does improve but stays 13th on the grid. Starscream, any improvement from him? Yes, he moves up to 8th, 1.6 off. In the background we've got Rebby coming through in 9th. Big Boy Brazier's in the pits. Jack, no improvement from him either. Keegs has finished also. KJ Argent entering the pit lane. That looks to be it. And that concludes the qualifying session for the registered Ginetta Junior Championship. Iceman on pole with very few laps, put in a quick lap nice and early, with Manahimovic joining him on the front row, 8/10ths down on his time. Jack will championship leader in 3rd with D Biggs in 4th. Rocket, a good result from him in 5th, with Gary lining up at 6th. He'll be looking to make his way through the grid at the start. Keegs in 7th with Starscream 8th, Rebby in 9th, and Big Boy Brazier rounds out the top 10. So here we go, the red lights are on and we're going racing for the first time tonight in round 6 of the THR Touring Car League. It looks like a very good start from Iceman. He remains in first going through Abbey. Manahimovic in second, Jack and D Biggs, and D Biggs has hit Jack's off into the gravel. championship leader back to the back of the grid, as the rest of the pack has made it safely through by the looks of it. Gary made a good start up to 4th, but as we cone's been thrown up on the exit of Beckett's there. But Iceman and Matahimovic now for the lead. Matahimovic goes to the outside as Iceman goes defensive. Keeps the position for now. So the big story on the opening lap, championship leader Jack taken out by look like D Biggs going through Abbey on the first lap. Just a bit of a racing incident by the looks of it. The stewards might have something to say about that before the evening's done. But for now, as we conclude lap 1, Iceman still ahead of Matahimovic in 2nd, Rocket in 3rd and Gary in 4th as they cross the line for the first time. Oh, and there's an incident further back. It looks like KJ Argent spinning around on the start finish straight, and Suddy Apex mid Adam off down in the background too. Suddy Apex taking out the marker border there, so that's allowed Jack up to 11th. And we've got a 4-way train for the lead here as Iceman weaving to try and get Matahimovic out of his slipstream. And looks like Gary's making a move on Rocket coming into Stowe. He does that successfully. Is Rocket going to hold around the outside? Very difficult to do there on that long right-hander at Stowe. And Gary makes the move successful, up to 3rd for him. Up 3 places in 2 laps now for Gary. Big Boy Brazier up to 5th with Starscream in 6th, and it looks like Keegs has tapped Starscream and he spun. Looked for a move up the inside into Club Corner. Unfortunately didn't work for him. So Iceman leading still from Matahimovic and Gary in 3rd. Rocket in 4th with Big Boy Brazier 5th. Starscream in 6th. He's got D-Biggs all over the back of him now. Is he going to look for a move up the inside into Village? A good move from D-Biggs there. Can he? Oh, he runs wide. That could be slow. Oh, he's spun and he's hit into Starscream. D-Biggs involved in another accident. Coming out of Village, he just caught the grass there. Took Starscream with him. That's unfortunate for Starscream, now involved in 2 incidents with 2 different drivers. He won't be happy about that, but still a long way to go in this race. Still 11 minutes. Hopefully he can make up a few positions. Mid Adam has disconnected from the session, unfortunately, so no luck for him this time around either. He won't be able to score any points. Meanwhile, Gary all over the back of Matahimovic for 2nd place. As you can see on the timing screens there, the red over the position numbers indicates time penalties. So Matahimovic actually has a time penalty for exceeding track limits. Gary be wary of this. Oh, and Rocket goes very wide there through Abbey. Gary be aware of this time penalty Matahimovic has, and he won't be looking to make any silly moves just yet, as if they stay like this the position will be reversed at the finish line. Tin Top Racing UK in the comments. Stewart's call. Definitely Tin Top. It'll be interesting to see. Unfortunately we don't have replays on this, so I can't have a look back at it, but it was could it have been an avoidable incident, we don't know. And then we seen D-Biggs get involved in another one there with Starscream. Probably won't be too much said on that one, I don't think, but definitely a question mark over the incident with Jack at the start of the race, who is up to 9th place and is hunting down TMLS. He's actually, TMLS has slowed down. He looks like he might have got a slowdown. That promotes Jack up to 8. He's actually all over the back of Starscream now for 7th place. As they come into club, we see D-Biggs actually behind him with no front bumper or bonnet on that car. So Jack's managed to get past him, and now he's all over the back of Starscream as we come through Club Corner onto the start finish straight to complete lap 4. Meanwhile, Gary still chasing Matahimovic for second place. The only one, I think, the only one of the top 5 without a penalty so far. As you can see, Iceman has actually got a penalty there too. Yeah, I feel Gary's playing this clever. He's using him and Matahimovic working together, using the slipstream down the hanger straight to try to catch up to Iceman in front. They are closing the gap down to 1.2 seconds now. So we'll see if they can catch up by the end. Meanwhile, Jack's side by side with Starscream now through Stowe. Looks like he's got the move done. He has indeed. Will Starscream look to come back up the inside? Jack goes defends the line, and a well executed pass from him up to 7th place now. So 7th place for Jack, with just over half this race gone after that incident on the first lap, dropping him back to 14th. Adam is also disconnected from the session again. In the chat, TMLS says he let them through, so just being wary of the guys fighting for this championship. So that's good racing from TMLS. He knows he's got his own championship to fight on Wednesday nights. Just on that note as well, you probably realised that we were absent last night. This was due to a postponement of the Class B round live from Silverstone International, as a couple of drivers were unable to attend, and so as a group they decided to postpone the event to next week. So this will be the one and only broadcast we'll have this week from the THR Touring League, but it's certainly going to be a good one and hopefully be full of action through the 5 races tonight. So big boy Brazier now in 5th is catching up on Rocket. Slowly closing in as they go on to lap 7. A good few battles through his field as Jack is catching up on Rebby now for 6th place. Jack really flying and really got the car hooked up for the Silverstone International track as they come through Abbey. You can see the car's hopping on. Starscream goes very wide in the back. You can see the car bouncing through the corner. A very quick corner, just a slight ease off the throttle to keep the car straight. Let's come through the link and into Beckett's. Jack will be looking for a good run now. He'll have the slipstream on Rebby. Starscream very wide again. That'll surely be a slowdown penalty for him. Has to come down the hanger straight. Rebby going defensive. And this battle has allowed Starscream to catch back up. Meanwhile, up the front, Matahimovic and Gary still working together to try close up on Iceman. A gap of 1 second, so they are closing up to Iceman up front ever so slightly. Will there be enough time with 5 minutes left? We'll have to wait and see. Big boy Brazier and Rocket still battling for 4th and 5th place, with Rebby, Jack and Starscream now, as Jack all over the back of Rebby as they come into Village. Oh, and Rebby spun it. Rebby is spun coming out of Village, and that's handed Jack and Starscream a place each. So Jack now up to 6th after that incident on the first lap. He'll be happy with that. I'm sure he'd take that now. A 9-second gap to big boy Brazier in front, so he'll just have to put his head down now and try break that slipstream of Starscream. Further down the field then, Rebby recovering is allowed T-Bigs in front. So the Apex in 10th with Keegs on his tail, and then TMLS running wide there through Beckett's, kicking up a few cones, and KJ Argent in 13th place. Mark Phelan in the comments: for the old dude who knows nothing, what is the yellow triangle to the right of some driver times? So Mark, basically this is letting us know that, so you can see there in 3rd place Matahimovic has a triangle. This is letting us know that he's closing up on Gary in front, so it's a broadcasting tool to let us know where the battles are on track, so we can give you the best action possible for the stream. Tin Top Racing UK also asking that question for the old man as well. Yep, so it's just a tool that shows us where the battles are on track. I think it's if you're within 1 second of the car in front, a triangle will come up beside your name. It's really good broadcasting tools that Project Cars have. Just a shame there's no instant replays. Would be the only thing I'd like to have added into the tools. Other than that, I can't complain. As it looks like Gary and Matahimovic may have had it coming together, as they've now dropped off 4 seconds off Iceman now. Yeah, you can see Gary with a 1:16.1 on that lap, 3 seconds off Matahimovic. So yeah, definitely may have been a little tussle between the two. Here he is, our race leader, Iceman. He'll be delighted to see that gap between Matahimovic and Gary increasing. Needs to gain some championship points to bridge that gap. I think it's 47 points we said behind the leaders. 41 points, excuse me, behind Jack. So he will gain some points here. With D Biggs also our second place man in the championship in 8th place. So again, the championship should close up even closer as we enter into the final 2 rounds at Brands Hatch and Knock Hill. So Iceman leading from Matahimovic and Gary. That's the top 3 at the moment. Big Boy Brazier has now got ahead of Rocket. So Big Boy Brazier up to 4th with Rocket in 5th. A good showing from these 2 drivers. Jack in 6th, championship leader at the moment. After that incident with D-Biggs on the first lap. Starscream in 7th as well, after an incident with D-Biggs as well through Village. There he is, D-Biggs in 8th with Rebby after that spin in 9th. Keegs now side by side with Starscream, or with Suddy Apex, apologies, for 10th and 11th. Looks to have got the move done, but Suddy Apex is going to have a look to the inside now into Abbey. Thinks better of it and backs off as Keegs runs wide. That'll be a slowdown for him, I'd say. Suddy Apex will look to dive up the inside here into Village. He does indeed. A bit of lag there, but looks to have made that move work. Keegs will look to through the link to come, and Keegs will look to set up. Suddy Apex very wide there through Beckett's. That'll definitely be a slowdown now, and wouldn't be surprised if I see Keegs getting past Suddy Apex. From a bit of experience and testing during the week, as the Class B event got cancelled very late. Sometimes when running wide there in Beckett's, you've got a slow down warning, but it disappeared then halfway down the Hanger Straight. So a bit of unusual. There's a bit of a grey area around the slowdown penalty. Sometimes you'll see drivers getting them, sometimes they won't. Looks like Suddy Apex on this occasion hasn't got it. Has a red box around his position, but I think he already had that. Gary's still all over the back of Matahimovic. Can't seem to just get close enough to make a move at the moment. Like the other Class B drivers in this race tonight, they'll just be wary of the guys actually fighting for this championship and won't want to do anything silly to throw them off the track. Gary's just delighted to be here racing after not having a race yesterday. A rocket all over the back of Big Boy Brazier now. This is a good battle for 4th and 5th as we come into Club Corner. Neil J in the comments, where was Suddy going? To McDonald's. Yeah, he was a bit wide there. Definitely overestimated the Beckett's corner. So it looks like we're on to the final lap now, and as we can see, Iceman coming through the link. As you can see on the top of the screen, the time is now officially stopped, which should indicate that it's the last lap. Iceman with the lights on, just in case he comes up to any back markers, and see THR in front of him there as Gary and Matahimovic look very close in the background. Is Gary close enough this time for a move? Matahimovic going defensive. But it's going to be this man, Iceman, led from start to finish. Got a little bit close to Matahimovic and Gary at one stage, but looked like a tussle between them has pushed them back. But it's going to be Iceman that takes the first victory of the night in the registered Ginetta Junior Championship. Congratulations to you. The battle for second, and actually Gary and Matahimovic side by side. It looks like Matahimovic is just going to hold on for second. He does indeed. So, but on time penalties, Gary takes him. So Gary with second place, from Matahimovic in third. Big Boy Brazier and Rocket third and fourth. Looks like. So Rocket, so Matahimovic had a lot of penalties. Matahimovic just dropped down to fifth, so it's going to be Rocket finishing third on penalties. Big Boy Brazier fourth. Jackson fifth. So Matahimovic is really dropping down the list here. Whether that's a fault or not. I've just got a 31-second penalty for me and Gary being side by side, says Matahimovic in the chat. But that'll be an interesting one. That'll have to be reviewed by the admin. So provisionally, we think it could be Iceman in first with Gary second, Matahimovic third, Rocket fourth, Big Boy Brazier fifth, Jack in sixth. A good drive from him from the back of the grid after that incident. Starscream will come home seventh, D-Biggs eighth, Rebby ninth, Keegs in 10th, TMLS in 11th, and KJ Argent will round it out in 13th, with Min Adam disconnecting in 14th as a retirement. Tintop Racing UK in the chat. Gary doing it again for the Class B boys. Yeah, well done, Gary. I think Matahimovic had a time, yeah, so he got a 31-second penalty, so he had a 3-second time penalty, which would promote Gary to second place anyway. So that's definitely your top three. Iceman in first with Gary, and Matahimovic rounding out the podium. A great stewards and admin team in the THR Racing League. They'll sort that out for Matahimovic. No worries about that. Mark Phelan in the chat. What are the chances of all the A's and B's sometime in the season? Few more cars on track. Unfortunately, in Project Cars, Mark, the maximum you can have in a lobby is 16 drivers, so we wouldn't be able to merge the two together, unfortunately. It's a shame, really, but hopefully, maybe to round out the season, we can get some sort of race with both classes together, because there definitely is a good mixture in both classes of speed-wise. A lot of the B class could definitely mix and match with the A drivers for sure. So a commanding win from Iceman. He'll claim some points on Jack, D-Biggs and Matahimovic there to claw himself back into the championship with 2 rounds to go, as we move on to the Tintop Racing UK Renault Clio Cup Championship, our second race out of 5 for the night. And a little run through the points for this one. It is your previous race winner Iceman who leads the championship on 101 points, 16 points clear of Matahimovic in second. Jack is in third on 83, with Sully Apex back and forth on 61, 40 points off the lead. D-Biggs rounds out the top 5 with Big Boy Brazier in 6th, Keeg 7th, Aidan Hills 8th, Carmelicious 9th. Aidan and Carmelicious both not here. Min Adam in 10th, Starscream 11th, AMH 12th, Rebby 13th, and Rocket in 14th. So 16 points is the gap between Iceman and Matahimovic at the top of this championship, with a further 2 points back to Jack. So just 18 points covering the top 3 in this championship. Still all to play for, with including this race, 3 rounds left of the championship. As we all know, the Clios tend to be one of the most exciting races of the night. It's definitely going to be a good race. Lots of slipstream, lots of overtaking chances on the track. I'm definitely looking forward to this one. TMLS in the chat. Yeah, just to clarify, I didn't want to hold up the battle with championship contenders, so moved over, but one of them, a red car, knocked me into a spin. Had felt comfortable before that. Red car was probably Sutty, I think, was the only one in a red car, TMLS. Sutty for 6th in Clio's, go Sutty. Yeah, it says Neil J. What are your predictions, everyone, for this qualifying session? As I said, the top 3 in the championship is Iceman, Madhimovic and Jack. Anyone else can trouble them maybe? I'd love to hear in the chat. Madhimovic commending Gary for the good battle in the chat. NJ, I should have come in for a filler in Clio, show Iceman how it's done. Yeah, NJ pretty quick in the Clios now during testing this week. A lot of the A and B drivers, as I mentioned last week, would race together during the week in test sessions. Tin Top Racing K was about to say a hell of a lot of drafting opportunities for the Clios coming up. Definitely, yeah. Definitely down the hanger straight. You can see Big Boy Brazier on now. Even up the start finish straight, you can get quite a good slipstream going into Abbey there, which can set up a nice overtaking opportunity into Village, which is turn 3. Yeah, so it's definitely going to be an interesting one. NJ in chat, Iceman will win this, he's quick. So Iceman looks to be the one to beat, as we're going to ride on board with Big Boy Brazier for a lap here. Oh, it's very sideways into Abbey. On cold tyres, these Clios love to drift sideways, and he actually used that back end to turn the car, as he's going to look for a move up the inside here. Oh, that could all might be a invalid lap time. Rubbing doors. Oh, not fair. Big Boy Brazier backs out of it there, so True Beckett's. Just to clarify, they're not racing, this is qualifying. You would think one of them might back off and try to get a clean lap in, but we've got a 10-minute session. Oh, it's actually only 5 minutes this session now. The last Ginetta Juniors was a 10-minute session. Maybe it was an accident by the admins, so it's only going to have time for 1 or 2 laps here at this qualifying for the Tin Top Racing UK Renault Clio Cup. Up to club now for Big Boy Brazier, the leader on track at the moment, down to 2nd. He's going to use that back end to get the car turned, put the power down nice and early. That's the first man to set a time. A 1 minute 16.1 is the time to beat. So just to clarify, that was KJ Argent behind. That were rubbing doors. So Iceman with a 1:14.4 goes on pole at the moment. Madhimovic 6/10 down in 2nd. D Biggs in 3rd with a 1:15.5. Big Boy Brazier is seen riding on board in 4th, with Starscream in 5th currently. Rebby 6th. Getting a little sideways there. True Farm Curve with D Biggs. KJ Argent in 8th and Keeks in 9th so far. Every lap that these guys do, the tyres are going to get warmer as well, so we should look to see the times improve this time round. So coming through Stowe and Vale now, up to club corner for Big Boy Brazier for the 2nd time in this qualifying session. Can he improve on his time? Currently sitting 4th, 1.7 off Iceman. No improvement, but KJ Arjun an improvement up to 3rd, just 1 second off, so a good showing from him there. Biggs in 4th, can he get himself back up into the top 3? So a bit of a reshuffle here going on. So Keegs has now promoted himself to 3rd, just 9/10 off. Madhimovic 3/10 off. Iceman 1:14.1. Still yet to set a time. Gary in the pits, so perhaps maybe he's having a water break or a toilet break potentially. So the Apex still to set a time, and also Jack with only 7 seconds left on the clock. So this will be the last laps. Big boy Brazier in the pit, so he's given up. As the checker flag is out now, KJ Argent coming through club. Oh, runs wide there. That'll be an invalid lap, I'd say. Wouldn't be surprised to see him head off to the pits now. Yeah, looks to be backing off his lap time now. So no improvement, KJ Argent. As here, D-Biggs coming through. Any improvement on a 1:15.5? Yeah, there is indeed. Up to 5th place ahead of KJ Argent with a 1:15.2. Meanwhile, Jack, his one and only lap has put him into 5th as Keegs goes into 4th. So the Apex in 3rd, a good showing from him there. Are we waiting on anyone else? Rocket, any improvement from him? We'll have to wait and see now. So the final classification from the tin top Renault Clio Cup. Iceman on pole for the 2nd time tonight. We've skipped through that very quick. Iceman on pole, Madhimovic 2nd, Suddy Apex 3rd. That's your top 3. And it's a very good start from Keegs in 3rd. He's going to a very slow start from Madhimovic. Keegs is up to 1st already before we even hit Abbey. Great start from him. Iceman in 2nd, Madhimovic 3rd. Oh, and a bit of contact in the background between the two same liveries, KJ Argent and I think 3 of them are in the same livery actually, but it's Keegs who's leading from Iceman at the moment. So great start from Keegs. Madhimovic in 3rd with Suddy Apex down to 4th. D-Biggs in 5th. Rocket 6th. Jack dropped down to 7th. TMLS, oh, looks like KJ Arden up the inside of TMLS. A bit sideways there. Cones flying everywhere as expected through Beckett's. Look at this coming down the hanger straight. Clio's everywhere. As up front, so the Apex looking to the inside of Madhimovic. Are we... oh, and we're 3 wide into Stowe. Iceman, Madhimovic. Oh, and Iceman's gone wide. What a fantastic first lap, as it's not over yet. Madhimovic now leading into club corner. So the Apex and Keeg side by side with Biggs and Iceman behind. Look at this. 4, 5, 6 abreast. This is an absolute carnage on the first lap. I don't even know where to look, as Madhimovic is all over the back of Suddy for the lead. And where's Keegs gone? Keegs has dropped right down to 8th. So a big reshuffle there coming through the last 2 corners. Oh, and there's a bit of sideways action. Looks like KJ Argent's gone off in the background. And who's that spinning? It looks like D-Biggs, I think, has had a spin, has he? Or Rebby, maybe. Just a lot of cars running the same livery tonight. So the Apex, oh, very wide there. Could be potentially be a slowdown. What an action-packed opening lap. Suddy leading from Madhimovic. Rocket in 3rd. D-Biggs now up the inside of Keegs for 4th and 5th. Jack in 6th, and he's got Iceman and Gary on his tail. Gary up the inside Iceman. These two continuing their battles. As Iceman looks to retain that position. Back then, Gary's not going to give up though, and he's got the inside now for club. Second part of club. Rubbing doors, pushing Iceman wide. Up front, Suddy Apex. Great showing from him now on this track. Has Madhimovic all over the back of his door. A Rocket, another good showing from him. This... the reshuffling now has really mixed up the grid, as TMLS picks up our first time penalty of the race. And Madhimovic has got up the outside of Suddy now through the link and into Beckett's. So Madhimovic now takes the lead from Suddy, but Suddy's going to look... oh, there's a lot of cars wide. It looks like Jack has gone wide down the back. Sully all over Matahimovic's bumper now as they're coming into Stowe. He's nearly on the grass. He's going to look up the inside. Very easy to lock the brakes as Matahimovic just there gets a little bit sideways, but looks like Sully will have a better run. They're still side by side the whole way through Stowe now. Oh, and behind it, Rocket and D Biggs has hit each other. Rocket and D Biggs dropping down the order there. That's going to be a penalty for one of them anyway. Big contact there as that promotes Iceman to third with Gary in fourth, Jack in fifth. And that's dropped D Biggs right down to 12th there. You can see the damage on the front of that Clio. Rocket not too bad in 7th. We'll be looking for a recovery drive now as Matahimovic still in the lead from Sully. Mark Phelan's 5 races of 1 lap of Clios, please. Indeed, that was a breathtaking first lap. I didn't know where to look on circuit. And that's what's good about these fast flowing circuits. It allows for good clean racing, as we can see here. Look at this, Sully up the inside of Matahimovic again. We're not even halfway down the hanger straight. Just can't get quite close enough and go to look for a move into Stowe yet. Meanwhile, behind this, Iceman closing in on the top 2 after a pretty hectic start for him. He's looking fast. So he now looking for the slipstream down the start finish straight. Matahimovic going defensive. This is going to allow Iceman to close up now, potentially looking for a move into Village. Oh, and Iceman's lost it. You saw the Clio bouncing up there through Abbey, and he's just lost control there, and that's allowed Sully and Matahimovic a breather there. Unfortunate from Iceman now as he's dropped right down the order in 7th place. Jack meanwhile up to 3rd, so a good drive from him. Avoided all the carnage so far, and that's got him up into a podium position. Gary in 4th now, TMLS in 5th. Good running from the 2 Class B drivers, with Rockets in 6th. Iceman after that incident now has Big Boy Brazzer all over the background. Meanwhile in the background, Biggs looking for a move on Starscream, with KJ Argent in 11th, Keegs in 12th, and Rebby in 13th. Mid Adam looks to have disconnected again from the session, so we've only 13 drivers. Iceman with Big Boy Brazzer alongside now into the first part of club. Keeps the position for now as they head up onto the start finish straight. Big Boy Brazzer all over the back now. Will have a good slipstream on the start finish straight. Oh look, just giving him a little nudge there, letting him know. Oh, and a little bit wide. No change of position yet from these two. Meanwhile up the front, Matahimovic still has Sully all over the back of him. Sully very quick through Beckett's each lap and gets a good run on the hanger straight now. Will he be able to be close enough to make a move? And just like with Iceman, this has allowed Jack to catch right up to the 2 of them, so we could have a 3-way battle for the lead here very soon. Generally we say in these races that the first 5 minutes is hectic, middle 5 is pretty calm, but so far that's not the case. It's just been crazy from the get-go right through this race, as now Sully has Jack all over the back of him. Matahimovic with a lock up into club, goes a little bit sideways but still manages to keep the lead. We're in for a real tree here between these 3. Gary in 4th as TMLS and Rocket still on the back of him, as you can see in the background there. Flash the lights from TMLS. Looks to be letting Rocket pass, just with the championship in mind. And we're down to 12 drivers now, so we've lost another one. I'll try to find out who that is for you guys. Yeah, and it looks to be Keegs that is disconnected or retired from this session. So we don't know what happened to him there. Still up front though, Madhimovic leading from Sully into second with Jack on his tail now, looking very racy. Still 6 minutes left in this race, with Gary in fourth now, just pulling away from Rocket and TMLS in fifth and sixth. Big Boy Brazil, and Iceman big up on two wheels there, so Iceman involved in a lot of collisions this race, getting up the inside of Big Boy Brazil now, and they have D-Bigs all over the back of him too. Big Boy Brazil and Iceman sideways through Abbey. That sent Big Boy Brazil very wide, and he's going over the grass through Farm Curve. We're going 3 wide into Village. Oh, Iceman, a big dive down the inside there, hits into the side of Big Boy Brazil. These two need to just calm down now and get their heads down and try close up. Oh, and they've hit each other again, the two of them. Another incident gone off screen, because there they are, you can just see them coming back on. So Iceman and Big Boy Brazil with another collision, the second or third one in this race, so just not a good race for them. You can see neither of them are happy at the moment, and Jack's now challenging for lead, so he's got past Sully Apex. And is now looking all over the back of Madhimovic for the race lead here with 4 minutes left, coming on to lap 9. A good run out of club corner for Jack, and Madhimovic is defensive very early. Sully just waiting there for an incident between the two. Great. This is what you like to see from these three. Nice clean racing. There's no bumping and banging like we've seen previous. Three very clean racers. As they come through the link and into Beckett's, the link known as the link between the two circuits. As now Jack is up the outside, onto the outside of Madhimovic down the hanger straight for the 9th time. Will he be able to hold around the outside? It'll be very difficult in these Clios to do that. The back end will look to try kick out. As you can see, Madhimovic with the better run down to Vale, and that has allowed Sully all over the back. He was weaving now up to the inside. Jack holds the position for now. As it looks like in the background, Rocket is all up on the back of Gary as well. Madhimovic and Jack would be, actually all three of them, Madhimovic, Jack and Sully, will all be wary of Iceman down in 8th for the championship, so they don't want to take each other off now. 2nd, 3rd and 4th in the championship respectively is how we're lined up in 1st, 2nd and 3rd in this race. Jack running a bit wide there. Oh, and Sully Apex has hit into him. That's allowed Madhimovic to creep away a little bit. You can see Jack running wide there, had to slam on the brakes to stop himself from getting a slowdown by running wide at Beckett's, and Sully just wasn't expecting it, tried to get the momentum out of the corner into the side of Jack. And a Sully up to 2nd through Stowe. Jack trying to get the switch back. It's going to be on the... Oh, they've tagged each other. They've hit each other and they're both on the grass. That's going to allow Gary and Rocket right up close to them as well. And that's allowed Madhimovic a 1.5 second lead now coming on to lap 11. I'm sure he's smiling looking in his mirror there, as Gary and Rocket are probably smiling looking in front of them now, thinking that a podium is possible. So instead of a 3-way battle for lead, we now have a 4-way train for 2nd, as Madhimovic soaring up the road now with only 2 minutes left. Jack in 2nd from Sully Apex with Gary all over the back of him now in 3rd. Is he going to have a look down it for a move into Village? Not yet on this lap. Rocket back in 5th with TMLS in 6th. Good showing from him. D-Biggs in 7th. Championship leader Iceman after a few incidents in 8th, with KJ Argent in 9th. Big Boy Brazier 10th. Revy 11th and Starscream in 12th. So Sully now has Gary all over the back of him into Stowe. Gary going for a tighter line there. It's a very good overtaking opportunity at Stowe, but it does put you on the outside for club corner, as you can see here now, as Sully's going to have the inside. If you get a good enough run, you might be able to hold it around the outside through the first part of club and then have the inside like Gary does here now. And that's promoted him back up to second as they come on to the start-finish straight. So it's a very good track for giving a lot of overtaking opportunities, and it's provided us with fantastic racing in this Tin Top Racing UK Renault Clio Cup. Jack closing back up on Manahimovic now, the gap down to 0.5 of a set, or half a second, excuse me. So Manahimovic with a little bit of breathing space would be wary at times, keeping an eye in the mirror as well. Maybe he's just got a little bit complacent now, and that's allowed Jack to catch up. We've only 15 seconds left on the clock, so this could be the penultimate lap if they don't cross the line in time, which it looks like they're not. So this could be the last lap, ladies and gentlemen, as they come through Stowe. Can Manahimovic hold on to the lead? With there we go, the time is 0-0, so this will be the final lap as they come through club for the final time. Manahimovic run a little wide. Jack's going to have a good run now through the final corner. We're bumper to bumper coming through the final corner on the last lap. Manahimovic defensive, but it looks like he's going to take the victory. Manahimovic takes the victory from Jack in second. Sully Apex hangs on to third, from Gary in fourth, Rocket in fifth. It's going to be D-Beaks is going to come home in sixth, with Iceman in seventh after those incidents. TMLS, a good showing from him in eighth. Big Boy Brazier after a few incidents as well, back in ninth. KJ Argent in 10th. Rebby going to come through in 11th. A pretty quiet race from him, and Starscream a very quiet race too in 12th. So congratulations Manahimovic on your race victory there, closing up on the damage limitations of Iceman in 6th, promoted after Biggs's time penalties. So Manahimovic wins from Jack in second. Sully Apex third is your top three. Gary in fourth, another good running from him. Rocket in fifth, good running from him also. Iceman in sixth after that bumper car session. D Biggs in seventh. TMLS 8th. Big Boy Brazier 9th. KJ Argent 10th. Rebby 11th, and Starscream in 12th. Min Adam and Keegs both retired from that session as well. Manahimovic pretty delighted in the chat. Yes, come on, he says. Well done to you, Manahimovic, congratulations. TMLS, I finished on the back of Iceman. He's very delighted about that. Yeah, Iceman with a bit of a bumper car session there, as Tin Top Racing UK says. Second, third and fourth in the league all benefited from Iceman's bumper session. Definitely, I was a bit surprised there with Iceman. Not kind of just playing it cool, trying to get through the grid. Now it's easier said than done on it. It's quite a tight track, so there's a lot of door banging. Just didn't work out for him in this race, but he's had a fantastic season so far, and I'm sure he'll come back in this next race, which is the hard compound Ginetta Supercup. Tin Top Racing UK congratulating Matt in the chat. NJ in chat, great race that. Jack seemed rather quick and Sully in third. Yeah, good running from Jack. He looked the quicker of the top three. Really caught up to Manahimovic there at the end. A great running. Shout out to Sully in third. Probably one of the best performances of the last few weeks. Tin Top Racing, see you all next week, guys. Have fun. It's been a pleasure having you, and thanks for tuning in. Tin Top Racing, always very interactive, and it's great to have you each week. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Just a little reminder, Tin Top Racing UK is donating a trophy and a cap to the championship winner in both Class A and Class B of this THR Racing League. So thank you very much, guys, for that generous offer. So an action-packed Tin Top Racing Renault Clio Cup there. As always, one of the best races of the night as we move on to the hard compound Ginetta GT Supercup. one of my favourite cars to drive in the Class B. And we'll have a quick look through the championship standings. It's Iceman leading this one on 161 points, 39 points clear of D Biggs in second, so a pretty comfortable gap for Iceman. He should be wary of that going into this round. Matimovic in third on 116, 45 points behind. Suddy Apex in fourth on 113. Big Boy Brazier in fifth. Jack in sixth with Min Adam in seventh. AMH in eighth, who's absent. Keegs in ninth. Rebby 10th. Rocket 11th. Starscream 12th. KJ Argent 13th. Carmelicious, who's also absent, and Aiden Hills, who's absent, who don't take part, in 14th and 15th. So let's begin this 5-minute qualifying session for the Ginetta Supercup. Here's your championship leader Iceman leaving the pits. As we can see, a good few cars out on track already. There's TMLS, good running from him in the Clios there. So our leading driver in this pack was Rebby. I think it's now Big Boy Brazier, so we might join him for a lap. Grabbing fourth just before the start finish straight in these cars. Up to fifth. Just braking between the 150 metre to get the car turned in. A lot of downforce in these cars, but you have to be patient, as Big Boy Brazier isn't there. He goes very wide through Abbey. That's going to ruin his lap. As we come into Village, down to second, getting in on that apex. Very gentle on the power, as the cars will kick out, especially on these cold tyres in qualifying. Through the link, getting on the brakes over the crest into Beckett's. Again, feeding the power in for the hanger straight. Very important to get a good run out here, particularly in the race when you're looking for a slipstream for an overtake. Under the bridge of the hanger straight, up to Stowe. Dropping down to fourth gear, even third sometimes, as Big Boy Brazier does, depending on how sideways the car gets. Keeping a nice tight apex down to Vale. Braking at the curb on the outside for Club, down to second, hugging those curbs. Again, feeding the power in, very careful, very easy for the car to get loose there. A good exit then out of Club. A Big Boy Brazier is going to come across the line for a first time lap of a 111 flat with that off, so in Abbey, so do expect times to improve on that. An Iceman goes fastest with it, 1 minute 10.6. As we have someone off there in front of us. Suddy Apex with the quickest lap so far. Quite interesting to note, actually, AMH isn't present here. The winner of our last round at Snetterton in this class. Generally races the Porsche and touring cars only, but he joined in last week at Snetterton and won the race ahead of Iceman, so if he could continue that for the whole season, he would definitely have been up there, but just choosing to focus on the Porsche Carrera Cup and touring cars. This Big Boy Brazier now goes on pole with a 1:10.1. Can Iceman improve on his time? No improvement from him, as Suddy Apex still in second. Gary, as D Biggs goes third. Jack in seventh, and that's KJ Argent off the grass on the start finish straight. TMLS all sideways there. as Rocket now. Can he improve on his 1:16.5? He does indeed. A 1:13.1, 3 seconds off, puts him in 9th place. As Matt Himovic in 13th with a bit of front bumper damage there. Looks to have had some contact. A 1:20 is his lap time, so we should look to see him improve now this time round, as we've got only 10 seconds left in this qualifying session. Big boy Brazier, will he have time for one more lap? It looks like he will. Comes across the line with 2 seconds to spare, 1:09.5, so a great showing from him as he's going to get one more lap in. D-Biggs, any improvement from him? He's had to deal with some traffic or Rebby. And Gary goes on pole with a 1:09.4, a great time from him, and Iceman takes it off him. Gary with pole for a split second. A 1:08.9, 5/10 clear of Gary in second. Big boy Brazier in third with D-Biggs in fourth. As Sutty puts in a great time to put himself into third, that pushes Big boy Brazier to fourth. D-Biggs fifth, Keegs in sixth. Matt Himovic improves to seventh with Jack in eighth, Starscream ninth, Rebby 10th, Rocket in the pits in 11th, KJR in the pits in 12th, TMLS in the pits in 13th. As Big boy Brazier has one more lap, can he get himself onto the podium for this qualifying session? Getting very sideways. Oh, he's kept it pinned but loses, unfortunately. You'll see him go back to the pits, and that concludes the qualifying session. So Iceman on pole for the third time tonight from Gary in second. Half a second separates them from Suddy Apex in third. Big boy Brazier fourth, D-Biggs fifth, Keeg sixth, Matt Himovic in seventh. Look for him to make a few moves up through the grid. Jack in eighth, Starscream ninth, Rebby 10th, Rock is 11th, KG Argent 12th, and TMLS rounds out the grid in 13th. What are your predictions for this race? Can Iceman hold on to the victory? For the victory, or can he be troubled by Gary in a very quick Suddy Apex and Big boy Brazier as well? Andrew Taylor says Suddy for the win. I believe that's AMH. So he's watching this race, not taking part. Predicts Iceman for the victory. As the lights are on, and we're racing for the third time tonight. Looks like a good start from Big boy Brazier. As we're going three wide into Abbey for second, third and fourth. So Iceman's in the lead. Oh, and there's a few cars running wide, but it looks like we're all safely through Farm Curve. Iceman's still at the lead from Big boy Brazier. Great start from him up to second. Gary third, Suddy fourth, D-Biggs fifth, Keegs and Matt Himovic 6th, 7th, Jack in 8th with KJ Argent all over the back of him. TMLS up to 10th from the back of the grid. As we head down the hanger straight for the first time. Big boy Brazier looking for a move, can't get it done so far into Stowe. Is there going to be side by side now? No, not this time round. Apologies Andrew Taylor, actually Monkey Boy. A lot of names to remember. Sorry for that. As Big boy Brazier gets up the inside of Iceman through club for the first time. Iceman flashing the lights, obviously not happy there, but he's now got Gary to worry about in third place as well. As we've got side by side action between Keegs and Matt Himovic behind as well. Oh, very wide from Big boy Brazier there. Is that going to allow Iceman through? And not this time round. Big boy Brazier he does have a slowdown. You can see it at the number 1 is red. He'll have a time penalty. And now Iceman's going to be all over the back of him, coming through onto the hanger straight. So it's Big boy Brazier from Iceman, Gary in third, Suddy Apex fourth, D-Biggs in fifth. As it looks like we've got Keegs and Matt Himovic battling for 6 to 7. Matt Himovic all over the back of Keegs, flashing the lights, trying to distract him into Stowe, with Jack on the back of them as well. Meanwhile up the front, still the same, no changes at the moment, but Iceman and Gary looking very racy ahead of Big boy Brazier, just not as consistent on these opening few laps, as he goes very wide there, and Iceman's up the inside and back into first place. Gary sitting patient in third, waiting for an error from either of the two drivers in front. A very close race we have up front here. Any moves? into Village. None at the moment. Good covering from Iceman, just in the middle of the road, not too defensive, but also getting a good exit through Village. As these top 5 now well clear of Jack, who's made it up to 6th from Matahimovic in 7th. So it looks like there's been an incident between Matahimovic and Keegs. But at the moment, Gary looking up the outside of Stowe. This should allow Suddy to get a good run too onto the back of them. It does indeed. So Iceman just creeping a little bit clearer now from this battling going on behind him. D-Biggs has catched up to this train as well. As you can see, Jack and Matahimovic now for 6 and 7. Matahimovic actually got past Jack. Oh, and Gary's actually dropped to 5th, so there must have been an incident there, because Gary's dropped right back. Matahimovic with the lights flashing. So Iceman leading for Big Boy Brazier in 2nd, Suddy in 3rd, with Biggs in 4th. Gary, after an instant by the looks of it, is dropped back to 5th, and he now has Matahimovic and Jack all over the back of his tail. Keegs in 8th, KJ Argent and Rebby battling it out for the top 10, and Rebby's gone off there, and he's spun in Village, and that's promoted TMLS to 10th and Rocket to 11th, Starscream 12th. Rebby getting going again at Village after that instant. Very easy to lose the rear there going through that corner. You have to be very careful on the power. This Big Boy Brazier kicking up the dirt on the inside of Stowe. An incredibly quick lap here in these Ginettas. A 1:08.6 is the quickest so far from Iceman. As he just begins to stretch his lead now over Big Boy Brazier in 2nd. Suddy, another good running from him in 3rd, looking to bounce on, capitalise on that Renault Clio form. D-Biggs just another quiet race in 4th so far. He'll be looking to close in on the top 3, put his head down and put in some good qualifying laps. Gary in 5th now. We know he's very quick. Will he be able to catch up to the back of D-Biggs? We've still got 10 minutes left in this race, so still all to play for as the field begins to string out a little bit. Matahimovic in 6th. He's got Jack just behind him, kicking up the cone there on the exit of the Beckett's. As we've got Keegs in 8th then, with KJ Argent, who's had a little spin on the grass at Village. TMLS in 10th with Rocket and Rebby in 11th and 12th, and Starscream back in 13th. A bit of a poor showing from Starscream this time out. We've seen how quick he was fairly quick in Snetterton last week, just not as consistent on this Silverstone International track so far. He'll be looking to have a better run out next time in the British Touring Car Chat Porsche Carrera Cup. So Big Boy Brazier trying to catch Iceman up front. A very hard thing to do though. Iceman very cool, no pun intended, when leading. A lot of drivers prefer to be the chaser than be chased, but Iceman doesn't seem to phase him no matter which he is. You can see your top 5 there, all strung out down the hanger straight. Still less than half a second between the top 2. We'll keep an eye on these. Jack still trying to close in on Matahimovic. Throwing that GT4 car into club. You can see the back end kicking out a little bit. As Gary, Big Boy Brazier has gone off at the final corner. Big Boy Brazier's had an incident that's dropped him down to 7th. Didn't look to be close enough to Iceman to be an incident. I'd say it was of his own accord there, losing the rear. Just like in the Ginetta Junior race, Iceman now being gifted a lead. .6 seconds down the road. Suddy Apex in 2nd. D Biggs in third. Quiet race from the second and third place men. As you can see, Gary up to fourth now after that spin from Big Boy Brazier. He'll be using these races as practice for when the Class B arrive at Silverstone International next week. So the field a little strung out, just Matahimovic and Jack battling for position at the moment, as they come on to lap 8 here with 6.5 minutes left. You can see the cars bouncing through Abbey there, a big dip in the road, can really unsettle the car. Meanwhile, further down the field, Rocket and TMLS having a little battle of their own, and they've also got Rebby just in front of them too. So 13 drivers in this one. Mid-Adam had joined the qualifying session, disconnected again, so unfortunately for him it looks like his internet is going to cost him no points in all of the first 3 races tonight, quite similar to that of round 5 in Snetterton last week. So best wishes to him. Hopefully he can get that issue sorted for next week. I'm sure we'll see him joining in for the Carrera Cup GB now, qualifying. Hopefully, fingers crossed, doesn't get disconnected. As Jack has had a little off there, and Big Boy Brazier is just behind him too, so potentially contact between them two. And that's allowed Keegs up to 6th place. Oh, and a big incident. Big Boy Brazier has hit Keegs. They've spun the two, and Jack is off too, so whether that's a bit of anger or that's just a racing incident, I'm not too sure. We joined it a little bit late, but it looked like a big lunge into the side of Keegs there, the innocent victim, but he still manages to keep 6th ahead of Big Boy Brazier and Jack. Still up front now, Iceman with a 3.2 second lead over Suddy Apex in second, from D Biggs in third, Gary in fourth, Matahimovic now with a little gap of 10 seconds, even not a little, to Keegs after that incident with Big Boy Brazier and Jack. KJ Argent in 9th, a quiet race from him, Rebby and Team LS 10th and 11th, Rocket in 12th, and Starscream back in 13th. Big Boy Brazier, oh, Big Boy Brazier spun Keegs for second time in the lap. Looked to have his nose down the inside in the club and tipped Keegs. And that's going to give Jack a little bit of a run coming up to Abbey. So again, Big Boy Brazier caught up in some incidents with drivers. We've seen it in the previous race with Iceman, and now again with Keegs and Jack in this one. The fact of the matter is these 3 drivers are extremely quick. If they just work together, they could close up. You can see the gap. They've allowed over 10-second gap to Matahimovic in front, who was once battling with Jack at the start of this race. So it just shows you when you get into these little scraps in the middle of a race, it can really affect any chances of moving up positions. So the field pretty strung out now. Iceman still fastest on track as he's coming to make his way through traffic. Looks like Starscream there, moving over to the side, giving a flash to the lights to let him know to pass. So the Apex as well, just giving a little pre-warning to Starscream. In the NX Oil liveried GT4 Supercup. Lucky to have that oil company still on board now with the plummet in oil prices. D-Biggs in third, quiet race from him, and Gary Ford looking to close in. Matt Himovic fifth still, with Big Boy Brazier with the only one with a time penalty at the moment in sixth, with Jack in seventh. The closest battle on track at the moment. Just under 2 minutes to go here in the hard compound Ginetta GT4 Supercup. Championship leader Iceman leading this one by over 5 seconds. We'll look to extend this lead a little bit from second place man D-Biggs, who's currently third, just overtaking Starscream there, back marker. 39 points is currently the gap between Iceman and D-Biggs in the championship. We'll extend that slightly. So it's all looking good for Iceman with 2 rounds to go. A maximum of 37 points can be scored in this championship per round. So 74 points on offer. Still possible for Biggs and Matahimovic to catch up depending on what happens. Brands Hatch GP circuit can give some very good racing too, some very high speed overtaking opportunities, so we'll have to see how that goes. And then onto the season finale at Knockhill in Scotland. A very bumpy track, can always cause up a stir. So it's far from settled yet, but at the moment Iceman is in the driving seat for another victory in this championship. 15 seconds to go. Will he have enough time to get across the line for another lap? It'll be very close. We'll stick with him now and see. 5 seconds left. Looks like he won't get across, so this will be the final lap, and Iceman will take the victory in the hard compound Ginetta GT4 Supercup. Congratulations to you, Iceman. Suddy, another fantastic performance from him, is going to come across the line in second. Well done to you, Suddy. D-Biggs in third, solid points collecting from him. Gary going to come home in fourth after a little incident earlier on. But Matt Himovic, Matt Himovic has gone off into the grass on the last corner. That's allowed Big Boy Brazier up to fifth. Is Jack going to be able to capitalise for sixth? Big Boy Brazier across the line fifth, does have a time penalty however. Matt Himovic fifth, Jack sixth. That pushes Big Boy Brazier down to seventh with those time penalties. Keegs going to come across the line in eighth after a few incidents with Big Boy Brazier throughout the race. KJ Argent in ninth. Rebby, a pretty quiet race. Did have a little battle with Rocketman earlier on, but that seems to have sorted itself out. They're going to come across the line 10th and 11th. TMLS 12th for him on his Class A debut, and these cars, a big drift there. Nice little presentation to finish off the race. And Starscream already completed as a back marker in 13th. So Iceman takes the victory to the apex in second. D-Biggs in third is your podium. Gary in fourth, with Matt Himovic fifth, Jack sixth, Big Boy Brazier seventh, Keegs eighth, KJ Argent ninth, Rebby 10th, Rocket 11th, TMLS 12th, and Starscream in 13th, with Min Adam disconnected in 14th. Neil J in chat, well done Iceman, well done Suddy in second. Yeah, well done to our podium of that race. Iceman extending his lead at the top of the championship. Keegan Walsh, aka Keegs, asking Matt Himovic, instead of instantly punting me off, think about me giving you the position back. We didn't actually see that on track, so I'm sure they'll sort it out between the two of them. All drivers very good friends in this league. Just having a read through the chat there. The guys, Keegs and Matt Image, seem to resolve the problem. Just a racing incident there between the two of them. Very easy to do in these cars. The rear can get loose very easy. It's good to see they've resolved that. So just take a quick drink break as we head on to the British Touring Car chat. Porsche Carrera Cup GB, GT3 Porsche 911 Carrera cars. And it's extremely close at the top of this championship. AMH, who will be joining in for this one, I've seen him joining in the session there, leads this championship on 84 points, just 1 point clear of Iceman in second. We've seen them two have a great battle last week in both the Carrera Cup and Touring Cars, so we hope for some more of the same this time round. Manimovic just 5 points off the lead in third place, so top three covered by 5 points. Is going to be a very exciting race as they head out on track for the qualifying session. 5 minutes, of course. There's our championship leader, AMH. 1 point clear of Iceman in second, 5 points clear of Manhimovic in third. Then we've got D-Biggs in fourth, Jack fifth, Keek sixth, Suddy Apex seventh, Min Adam in eighth, Rebby ninth, Big Boy Brazier 10th, Starscream 11th, KJ Argent 12th, Rocket 13th, Carmelicious and Aiden Hills 14th, 15th. Haven't seen them at the last two rounds, potentially not taking part, but we still include them in the standings anyway. So our fourth race of the night, as we'll head on board with an onboard lap with AMH, our championship leader of the Silverstone International Circuit. Coming through Club Corner now. Make sure to get a good exit onto this qualifying lap, using that runoff on the exit. Up to fifth gear. On the brakes just before the 50 board through Abbey, down to fourth gear, and then through Farm Curve. Quick shift up to fifth to keep the car stable. Heavy braking down to second for Village. Easing on the throttle then as we come through the link. Braking over the crest for Beckett's, to make sure to get a nice clean exit onto the hangar straight. A very quick lap in these cars as well, the quickest of the five. As you can see there on the right of the screen, easing on the brakes too hard and you'll lock up into Stowe, which is a very difficult corner under braking. Braking just before the curve on the outside into second gear for Club. We just see Starscream there disconnecting and rejoining, so hopefully gets back into the session in time for the race. As AMH comes across for their first lap of a 1:04.7. So D-Biggs and Rebby coming across 1:07.6, puts D-Biggs in second, Rebby in third. A good few of the cars actually together, so Matimovic now up to fourth. Iceman in ninth, he'll be looking to improve on that time now with a bit of traffic in front of him. Here comes Gary now. Good running last week in Certain. Likes these cars, goes third at the moment with a 1:07.4. So the Apex goes 11th, and TMLS last to put in time, 37 seconds off, so it looked like an incident there for TMLS. He'll be looking to improve on that in the Euronics machine. Big Boy Brazier in the pits after one lap, so potentially retiring already. So it's going to be a very close battle up the front by the looks of it between AMH and Iceman. What do you think in the comments? Who do you think's going to have this one in pole? Oh, a bit of a moment there from AMH. Looks like TMLS in front of him, flashing the lights there. Just let him know what he thinks of that. Neil J in chat, think we know who's winning this? My money's on AMH. certainly will be very quick. The fact he's only taken part in 2 of the races, he must put a lot of time into practice for the Carrera Cup and the touring cars, so he will be very quick, of course. As it comes through club, any improvement from him? No improvement that time around after that slight hamper from TMLS. Suddy Apex is now in 2nd place, just 9 tenths off. Gary's in 3rd on a 104.9 with Jack in 4th. Keegs in 5th. Any improvement from him? Manahimovic just in front. Keegs goes up to 4th as they all come across the line together. D Biggs with no rear wing there. Oh, someone, that looks like Jack that's gone off in the background. Oh no, they've actually changed liveries from the last time. It'd be a lot easier if they kept the same liveries. I don't know who that is, we'll find out though. But currently AMH leading as qualifying is completed. 9 tenths clear of Suddy Apex in 2nd, so a great run from Suddy again. Really has this track clued in. Iceman in 3rd with Jack in 4th. Gary's in 5th with Rocket 6th. Keegs in 7th and Manahimovic 8th. These still have another lap to complete. Big Boy Brazier in 9th. D-Biggs, oh, D-Biggs big instant there in 10th. So here comes Keegs and Big Boy Brazier. Any improvement from them? No improvement from either. It's Manahimovic. He's Manahimovic in 5th. That concludes the session. So AMH will take pole, almost a second ahead of Suddy Apex. Another good running from him in 2nd. Iceman in 3rd, closest championship rival, with Jack in 4th. Manahimovic 5th. Gary 6th. Rocket in 7th from Keegs 8th. Big Boy Brazier in 9th. Rebby 10th to round out the top 10. D-Biggs in 11th, TMLS in 12th, and KJ Argent in 13th. So for the 4th time tonight, the lights are out and we're going racing, and there's a bit of bargy behind. As it looks like AMH has got a good start. So is Suddy Apex though. He's going to challenge into the first corner. Thinks better of it. Oh, and Suddy and Iceman have hit each other. Oh, and that's... Suddy's gone flipped in the air. And what a shame that is for Suddy Apex after such good qualifying. Iceman looked to pin him, and he's after spinning Jack there as well. So Jack's dropped down the order now. So it's elbows out at the start of this race now as AMH leads from Iceman 2nd. Gary in 3rd with Manahimovic in 4th, it looks like, and Rocket in 4th, that is, who had that big moment in qualifying. Manahimovic 5th from D-Biggs, who's going to challenge down the inside here into Stowe. Gets the job done there on Manahimovic, but it looks like, oh, and there's a bit of it looks like KJ Argent's off in the background. Jack there after the incident with Iceman, and also Suddy Apex after the incident with Iceman. Unfortunate for him, but hopefully he can make up a few positions. So lap 1 complete. AMH is leading from Iceman 2nd. Gary in 3rd now, and it looks, oh no, off. That's TMLS and Manahimovic. Apologies, not Manahimovic. Big Boy Brazier by the looks of it, that's gone off. It is indeed. We can't see them on there. Oh, there's Big Boy Brazier flung across the track, almost taking out Rocket there, who's had an instant. He's back to 11th. So TMLS and Big Boy Brazier an instant there coming out of the club. So the top 5 strung out a bit as D-Biggs now has Jack all over the back of him, with Suddy Apex now up to 8th, so he's already beginning to make his way back up through the field. KJ Argent in 9th and Rebby in 10th. So Jack up the inside of Keegs, as Keegs takes to the grass there, and that's going to allow Suddy Apex to have a go. He's looking up the inside, or the outside even. Is he going to be able to hold it there? No, has to back off. And Keegs holds on to 7th. So AMH 2 seconds clear at the top. from Iceman, who also has a time penalty. So if Gary can close in now, he'll be wary of that. We'll be looking for a top 2 finish. Manahimovic in 4th. Pretty hectic first lap, but he's kept clean from D-Biggs with a bit of front bumper damage there. You can see quite damaged 911 Carrera there. From Jack in 6th on a recovery drive again for the 2nd time tonight. Keegs in 7th. Suddy Apex 8th. No rear wing after being sent to the shadow realm there. Neil J in chat, can't believe Iceman took Suddy out, he'll not be happy with that. Yeah, it looked like a pretty didn't look like a racing incident, we'll put it that way, Neil. We'll have to see what the stewards think at the end for that one. As we know, all the results provisional until Pat gone through with the stewards, and we'll be updated in the next day or two on any appeals that may have been handed in post race. Keegs running a bit wide through Abbey. He's going to lose the rear, and that's going to promote Suddy up to 7th, so another place gain for him. Is Shaq now closing in on D-Biggs? Oh, they've actually hit each other. Oh, and D-Biggs has spun in the centre of the track, almost taking Suddy Apex out. Suddy Apex takes the grass, and that's unfortunate now. Jack tipping D-Biggs on the exit of Beckett's. Not sure if there's much Jack could do. He was trying to avoid, but that's promoted him to 5th. Keegs has lost it through Stone. That's going to promote Suddy up to 6th. Gets Rebby's up to 7 now. Keegs just getting going there. Going to promote D-Biggs on a rocket by the looks of it. So Keegs locks in 10th there. Big Boy Brazier in 11th after the incident with TMLS. KJ Argent back in 12th. So Jack and Suddy running together now, both after incidents with Iceman at the start. They'll be happy with 5th and 6th with only 5 minutes gone in this race. Still 10 to go, so a lot of time for him to catch up on Manahimovic in 4th place, who's just coming through Beckett's now. 8 seconds clear of 5th and 6th. So quite a strung out field early on in this British Touring Car Chat Porsche Carrera Cup GB race. There is your 2nd place man on the grid, Suddy Apex. Got flipped through Abbey, now closing in on Jack. As I mentioned before, it's only visual damage in this league, so he won't be feeling any effects of no aerodynamics of the rear wing. As you can see, closing in on Jack. Quite a big fan club for Suddy in the chat tonight. Hello David Great, cheering on Suddy. Oh, and Jack's gone off. Jack's had an incident through Abbey, and that's going to allow Rebby through to 6th and D-Biggs. We can't see him on camera now as he just gets going there again now. So Jack, unfortunately, after a great drive back, is now back in 9th. So Suddy in 5th from Rebby now in 6th with D-Biggs after that incident with Jack is in 7th. Big Boy Brazier in 8th. Jack running very wide there through Beckett's in 9th with Keegs in 10th. TMLS in 11th, Rocket 12th, and KJ Argent with a lot of front bumper damage there in 13th. So not the Carrera Cup race we hoped for in terms of close action packed racing so far. Still 8 minutes to go though, and still a lot can happen, I guess. But this man AMH 4 seconds clear of Iceman in 2nd. You can just see Iceman coming through Beckett's there. Gary in 3rd, very wide. Quite an easy introduction to the night for AMH so far. It'll give him a lot of confidence going into the touring car race after his win last week in Snetterton as well on the last lap against Iceman with that famous incident between the two. Manhimovic, much stronger performances tonight all round from him so far. Back up the top end of the grid where he belongs, and we look forward to having him commentating next week for Class B. We missed him last night due to the postponement of the Class B racing. We're all itching to get going. I definitely am. I can't wait to get racing here. Really enjoying this track, so it should be good racing as we've seen here in the Class A's tonight. To the best of my knowledge, I think the Class B will be on Wednesday night next week from Silverstone International. So the Class B calendar will be pushed back a week, and the Class A calendar will continue. So we'll be at Silverstone International next Wednesday night for the Class B League, and we'll head to Brands Hatch GP circuit for Class A on Thursday. That's not confirmed at the moment, but apparently that's what the plan is. So we'll have our Class A champions a week early compared to Class B. Currently no battles on track. AMH still leading 5 seconds over Iceman. Gary, quiet race for him in third, but Manhimovic trying to chase him down in fourth. Suddy Apex in fifth. Big Boy Brazier sixth from Jack in seventh on another recovery drive. Rebby in 8th from Keegs in 9th. Rocket now with a time penalty in 10th. T-Biggs 11th after that incident. TMLS 12th and KJ Argent back in 13th. Fastest man on track at the moment, as you can predict, AMH on 104.0. Half a second quicker than anyone on track at the moment. So he's in the cruising seat. Just having a quick look at the championship table to see how things are going. Top 3 won't be affected too much. As we said, AMH leading championship from Iceman in second, and Manhimovic is in third. D-Biggs, however, is in fourth. He's down in 10th at the moment, currently 10 points ahead of Jack, who's in 5th place, currently 7th on the road. So Jack will close up on D-Biggs in the championship at the end of this race, if all stays the same. Min Adam is actually going quite well in this. He's in 8th place. Unfortunately, he's disconnected from the session, so he won't pick up any points. Suddy Apex is in 7th in the championship, however would have picked up some lovely points there from starting second on the grid. Really could have probably passed out Keegs in 6th before that incident. Now he's still picking up some decent points. Keegs back in 8th, so he will gain a few points on him, so really will close up the championship throughout the whole grid. So there's still all to play for from 1st right down to 14th in majority of the championships, which gives good racing for all the drivers going into the final 2 rounds. Revy closing in on Keegs now for 8th and 9th. As you can see, time penalties for Iceman, Sully Apex, Big Boy Brazier and Rocket, indicated by the red box beside their name. Very wide there from Revy. Very easy to do. There's no marker boards between the Link and Beckett's, so it's very hard to get your braking right there. It's very easy to run wide. As a little bit further back, TMLS coming up to KJ Argent's actually made up 2 places to 11th now, so an incident for Rocket has demoted him to 13th. KJ Argent has a little moment there, forces him to the grass, and that's going to promote TMLS back to 11th. And TMLS then pays him back the favour. So our race leader AMH going through to start lap 13. 2 minutes left on the clock, so we will have... This could be the penultimate lap, one more to go after this, by the looks of things. 5.5 seconds still the gap to Iceman second, so Iceman managing the gap, just can't get any closer. What a shame. With a few incidents at the start, we could have been on for a real race again in this, between the two of them. And I can't help but imagine Suddy Apex and Gary Matahimovic potentially could have had a close battle for their remaining podium position. As we see a rocket there with a bit of front bumper damage, just letting Gary past through Stowe. One of the quieter races for Gary on the package. Usually he's caught up in some battles. He hasn't had it easy. A lot of commentators curses for him throughout the season, but so far a consistent solid night for him. It would be interesting to see the likes of Tyler House maybe taking a step up to Class A, see how he get on in one of the race weekends maybe. We know him and Gary are very quick in the Class B, so he definitely would be up the front half of the grid anyway. So if you are watching Tyler, maybe you should give it a go next week, see how you get on. Quite a lot of, as I've said before, quite a lot of the Class B drivers could definitely shake it up with these Class A drivers. As AMH takes the victory in quite a quiet race. Got distracted there, bigging up the Class B boys. He takes the victory from Iceman in second, Gary in third, from Matahimovic fourth. Suddy Apex fifth. Damage limitations from him, but he'll be happy with that after recovering from the back of the grid. Big Boy Brazier will come home in sixth with a damaged Carrera Cup car from Jack in seventh. Mixed bag for Jack tonight. Been caught up in a few incidents. Definitely has the pace. And Rebby has D-Biggs all over the back of him for 8th, but he's going to hold on to that from D-Biggs in 9th. Keegs just behind in 10th. TMLS in 11th, KJ Argent 12th, and Rocket rounds out the grid in 13th. So AMH, 8 seconds was the gap to Iceman in second. Apologies for missing your race finish, AMH. No doubt you had the lights on. Gary rounds out the podium in third with Matahimovic fourth, Suddy fifth, Big Boy Brazier sixth, Jack seventh, D-Biggs eighth, Keegs ninth, and Rebby in 10th. Mark Field in the chat, should give A go yourself, Ben. I could do, I guess, but who would bring the great stream then? We'd have to find another commentator. Hopefully if another season goes ahead, I'd definitely love to maybe progress up to the A class. See how I get on. I still have a bit of work to do, I think, consistency wise in my own league. Could definitely be fighting for a few more championships, but it's all a learning experience. I'm really enjoying it, as I'm sure all the other drivers are as well. Matthew Duffin and Matt Ivovich, nice to hear you missed me last night, Ben. Definitely I have big boots to fill following from your commentary. Keegs in the chat, I messed up on the second last lap, last corner. It's nice to be able to hear the drivers' thoughts in the chat, so I can let all you guys watching know their views and opinions on that race. As we head on to the final race of the night, the BTCC Blueprints Touring Car Championship. Now, as you can see in the lobby, a lot of drivers going for the BMW 320 rear-wheel drive car for this race. As we know, this touring car class is a multi-car class. You've got the Renault Megane, Mercedes AMG, BMW 320, and also the Opel Astra. Now, as we know in this league, the Renault Megane is banned, as it's quite overpowered, so a lot of drivers opt for the Mercedes. Now, in testing this week, definitely found myself that the 320 BMW was a lot quicker than the Mercedes. Definitely need the rear wheel drive to help get around these longer corners such as Stowe, Club, and even Village. So I can see a lot of the drivers have opted for that BMW tonight. So as we can see, KJ Argent currently has the Mercedes, Matt Himovic BMW as expected from Jack BMW. The only ones not running the BMW are Gary, who's opted for the Mercedes this time, and TMLS in the Astra. So Gary, who's been pretty predominant in the BMW, has opted for the Mercedes, potentially just a bit of testing for him in preparation for his own Class B league. No, you don't. Cracking job, says Matthew Duffin. I appreciate that, Matthew. Thank you very much for your nice comments. Only size 9, so not too big a boot to fill. TMLS says the BMW should be banned with a winky face. And can I have the Megane because I am not so good, expressed in a slightly shorter and inappropriate word. It's all practice, TMLS. You'll be right up there in the pace for the Class B race next week. After this practice, keep going, keep practicing during the week. I'm sure a lot of the guys will be on testing throughout the week, as they always are. So as we begin our final qualifying session of the night, let's have a look at the championship standings for the BTCC Blueprints Touring Car Championship. Iceman currently leads on 81 points from AMH on 72, just 9 points behind after their fantastic race last week at Snetterton that went down to the very last lap. Matt Himovic in third, tied on points with D Biggs, both 32 points off the lead. Jack in fifth with Suddy Apex in sixth, Starscream 7th, Keegs 8th, Rebby in 9th, KJ Argent 10th, Mid Adam in 11th, Aiden Hills 12th, Rocket in 13th, Big Boy Brazier 14th, and Car Malicious in 15th. Just to clarify as well that we've only run 4 rounds of this championship due to an incident in the Brands Hatch Indy touring car race. That'll be rerun at a later date. So we have, including tonight, we have 4 rounds left in this race class. We just see Starscream having a little trip there off track. We see TMLS running the Astra. As we're going to ride on board with Keegs for a lap up the Silverstone International Circuit in the BMW 320. You can see his teammate in the same livery in front. Braking down to second for Village, trying to clip that curb. Very careful on the throttle with the rear wheel drive. Keeps it in third through Beckett's. You'll see some drivers dropping to second potentially, depending on different driving styles. As they come down the hanger straight towards Stowe, we've got a car off on the grass there on the right up ahead of us. Hopefully it doesn't affect us too much. Braking down to third, shifts back up to fourth to keep the car stable through Stowe. Down through Vale up to fifth, going to brake just after the 100 metre board, drops it down to second. Through Club early on the power, to get that car turned. And Keeks is going to put in a lap time of a 1:11.0, 2 seconds off Iceman, who is currently on pole with a 1:08.8, as you can see him there with a Jack just behind him, running the Astra. So AMH currently 0.08 of a second behind Iceman. Let's see if there's any improvement from these guys. This will, for some of them it will be their penultimate lap. A few others will get one more in. 1:18 left. THR, any improvement from him in the Mercedes? No improvement. Biggs goes up to 5th. No improvement from AMH. Here he comes. Let's see if he can get any improvement. Keeks is up to 3rd currently. Jack in 4th. Big Boy Brazier 5th. Matt Himovic 6th. Gary 7th in the Mercedes. D-Biggs 8th, as we've seen. Sully 9th. No improvement from AMH either. 12 seconds off his Zelda, so must have slowed up or had an incident there. Still yet to set a time. TMLS, he's coming through club now with a car in front, and he's actually pitted, so he's given up. Pits also with no time set yet. Just so AMH takes pole position for this race. Iceman in 2nd, Keeks 3rd, Gary 4th. 3 red lights for the last time, and we're racing for the final time tonight in the THR Touring Car League, sponsored by BTC Brewplins. It looks like a good start from AMH and Keeks. AMH leading, Iceman up to 2nd, Keeks in 3rd. And have we all got through safely? It looks like we have. Rebby going across the grass there. And looks like we've all been safe. Cohen's flying up as usual through Beckett as 14 touring cars go streaming down the hangar straight for the first time tonight in this 15-minute race. Iceman goes down the inside. AMH very wide though, and it's not going to allow AMH to switch back. It does indeed, so AMH retakes first position through Stowe. Apologies there, I think the stream might have frozen. Sometimes just a bit of poor internet connection by the looks of it. So lucky enough we got it back going for the final race, because it looks like it's going to be a cracker between AMH and Iceman again. Meanwhile, just behind, Keeks in 3rd position from Matt Himovic in 4th. KJ Argent, a good run from him in the Mercedes in 5th. D-Biggs in 6th. Jack in 7th with Rocket 8th. Suddy in 9th. For Starscream 10. TMLS in 11th. Big Boy Brazier down to 12th. Gary down to 13th, so potentially instant from him in the Mercedes. And Rebby in 14th. Still up front though, Iceman looking for the slipstream on him. AMH, is he going to dive to the inside? Not this time round. Slightly different lines from the two drivers, as AMH takes a slightly wider line for a better exit. Iceman hugging that apex. As Iceman has a look down the inside. Almost touched, but good clean race from these two again, as they're going to be side by side now through the final part of the club onto the start finish straight to complete lap 2. 12.5 minutes still to go. As it looks like Keegs has Matahimovic all over the back of him now as well, but Iceman now takes the lead through Abbey. AMH going to have a look into Village, not this time though, as Keegs looks to have shook Matahimovic off him again. Quite wide from Iceman there, potentially maybe a slowdown. We'll have to wait and see. Quite strung out field already in this one. Front runner Gary would normally be up there, opted for the Mercedes this time. You can see quite a bit of damage on that Mercedes. Maybe just testing it out for next week. So Keegs is in third, has Matahimovic all over the back of him. Is he going to have a look into club? Not yet. Good covering from Keegs. Matahimovic has got a better run. He's going to look up the inside. These two had it coming together earlier on in the night. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. They seem to have sorted it out. A bit of respect for the two of them. As they go side by side into Abbey, looks like Matahimovic has the lead and he takes... Oh, they're still side by side. That's incredible. Side by side through Abbey normally doesn't work, and they're side by side through Farm Curve as well. Heavy on the brakes for Village. Great racing from the two of them. A little lock up from Matahimovic, but he maintains third for the moment. As we come on to Hammer Straight, AMH, is he close enough for the slipstream? Doesn't look it at the moment. It won't bother Iceman too much now if AMH happen to get ahead. You know, it's a championship to think about here. At the end of the day, but he does want to try and force AMH not to get as many points as they can as they come through Abbey. Iceman currently 9 points ahead of AMH in the standings. As AMH goes for a look down the inside, a big lunge, and it looks like we've got through. Late lunge from AMH there. Iceman, I'd say, wasn't expecting it. A good move from him though, and he's up to first. Iceman very wide there, kicking up a bit of dirt. Meanwhile, Matahimovic. Oh, and Iceman dives to the inside again. These two differing lines from the two of them, as AMH will look for a better run out of Stowe. Iceman covers it though on the way down to club, so he seems to have that sussed out. As AMH has a look, not enough room there though, as he's going to get a good run out of club though, kicking up a little bit of dirt. As we go on to lap 6 with 9 minutes left to go in this race, Iceman having a little weave, AMH following him, trying to keep in that slipstream. And again, just like Snetterton last week, we're in for a great final 10 minutes of this race between these two guys. First and second on the road, first and second in the championship. Iceman in the Chevrolet BMW 320. AMH in the Mist BMW 320 as well. Currently it's BMW 1-7. That's a very damaged Big Boy Brazier's car there. Has Jack, who's in the Astra, is the leading of the other cars in the classes. KJ Argent had a good start, but he's dropped down to ninth now with Gary on a comeback drive in 10th. As we go back to the front, Iceman still ahead of AMH. These two well clear of Matahimovic in third in the partnering Chivalry Performance BMW. D Biggs back in 5th place. Another quiet race from him. He's been very quiet lately, apart from the incidents in the first races today. just not on the pace of the guys in front of him, but quicker than the rest of the field. Always seems to have him in kind of 3rd to 5th in these races. Suddy Apex in 3rd in the Border Racing BMW, trying out the BM. I know Suddy isn't a big fan of it, but he's getting some time in it, and he's putting up a good fight here in 6th. Big Boy Brazier in 7th, with Jack in 8th on his tail. KJ in 9th, from Gary 10th, TMLS in 11th, Rebby in 12th, and Rocket with a big spin there, flying the Union Jack on that BM in 13th, and Starscream rounding out the grid in the Ibec BMW. So you can kind of see here there's a bit of a trend with the BMs all up the front. Gary, interestingly, going for the Mercedes, is down in 10th, so definitely a lot of the B drivers, Class B drivers, will be looking at this for next week as a hint to what car they might choose. Again, there's no rule to stick to one car for the season. You can pick and choose between cars if you want. Some drivers, although the BMW might be quicker on the circuit, some drivers with their racing style will still pick the front wheel drive car because they can just control it better than the rear wheel. Speaking from experience with testing them through the week, the BMW seems quite loud. It's very loud in car, and it makes you feel like you're driving a GT car, and you think you have a lot more downforce than you do, and you start to drive it as if it was the Porsche, and you can run wide a lot because with a lot of understeer. So you have to remember it's a touring car, not a GT car. As these two continue their battle up front, Iceman and AMH, just 3/10 between them. AMH slightly quicker by just over a tenth that lap around, as a benefit of the slipstream. Manahimovic in 3rd. He has a time penalty though from Keegs, so Keegs would be wary of that. From T-Biggs in 5th. Suddy Apex, Big Boy Brazier and Jack in this battle for 6th, 7th and 8th. Jack with the lights on there, and Big Boy Brazier just letting him know he's there. Gary's now up to 9th past KJ Argent, so he's progressing his way up through the top 10. And then we've got TMLS, Rebby, Rockets with a very damaged BMW there, and Starscream not his best showing this time out, but we know he's got pace. We've seen it last week in Snetterton. Oh, and Iceman's gone wide through Abbey. As soon as and AMH looks to be letting them back through, is he? Potentially a bit of contact between the two. We always seem to miss it. I need to give some airtime to the rest of the drivers though. They were quite spread out, so potentially, well, by quite spread out, for these two it's half a second. And it looks like there may have been a little bit of contact with AMH letting Iceman back through, just like last week in Snetterton. As we've got just under 4 minutes left to go in the final race of the night, the BTCC Blueprints Touring Car Championship. Neil J in the chat, always great racing in the touring cars between these two. Definitely is, Neil, as AMH weaves to try and get around the outside through Club, and he's actually going to hold it, and he's going to have the inside line, and he's forced Iceman wide, so very elbows out driving from AMH there, and that's allowed him a little bit of breathing space. Stopped the Iceman from getting the run out of Club there. A little bit wide from Iceman. Meanwhile, further back, Jack has got past Suddy Apex. Oh, and just as we say that, Keegs has hit him. Or Big Boy Brazier, apologies. Big Boy Brazier has spun Jack, so Jack's just not been his night. He's been caught up in a lot of incidents, and I'm afraid the stewards will have something to say about that for Big Boy Brazier, who's been involved in a lot of incidents tonight. Needs to just settle himself down a little bit on the road. Meanwhile, Manahimovic just pulled out a little gap from Keegs. Apologies, Keegs, running the same livery as Iceman. Up the inside, AMH through Stowe. I was just apologising to Keeks there. Same livery as Big Boy Brazier. As these two side by side again into club. Almost a mirror of the last time out, except this time AMH goes for the outsides, look for the better run. Looks to have been a bit of contact between them two. As you can see, actually the near window of AMH is actually cracked. You can see the, or is it? It could have been just a reflection. But we've got a minute and 57 seconds left. This will be the penultimate lap. We'll get one more after, and it's going to be extremely close between these two guys again for the victory. As we ride on board with Iceman down the hangar straight. Very late on the brakes, and it's going to compromise him on the exit. Gets the power down now and keeps that gap to AMH in front. Who do we think is going to win this one in the chat, guys? Is AMH going to be able to hold on, or is Iceman going to go for a last lap lunge? What do you think? A minute and 10 seconds to go. A minute and 8, minute and 7 minutes. So this will be the final lap of the race this time round. AMH marginal lead over Iceman. As we come through Abbey for the final time tonight. Oh, and Iceman has spun. That's so unfortunate. AMH got it, braked very early there. It looked like he got a bit sideways. Iceman had to take avoiding action, slammed on the brakes, and he's locked up. And unfortunately, again, for the second week in a row, we haven't got the finish that we've wanted to get. I'm not too sure what happened there, but AMH looked like he braked very early into Beckett. Whether that was a tactic to back Iceman up, I'm not too sure, but it's going to be this man AMH Racing that's going to take the victory for the second consecutive race. Congratulations AMH, 2 wins on the trot. Unfortunate for Iceman, just had to take avoiding action, locked up and spun through Beckett's. It's a shame now we didn't get to see it. Maybe a final corner battle. Madhimovic, well done coming home in third. Flash of the lights from you. Much better performance all around from you tonight. Keegs, great performance from you in fourth, apologies, well done. But D-Biggs gets you on the line for fourth with time penalties. Well done D-Biggs, quiet race from you. Big Boy Brazier is going to come home in sixth, with Suddy Apex in seventh. A lot of time penalties, so this could promote Suddy Apex. Jack in eighth. No change in the order so far, with Gary in ninth. Gary goes ahead of Jack on time penalties. KJ Argent with TMLS all over the back of him. And oh, a big collision behind. That looks like Rocket and Revy across the line. A big incident there. Jack down to 13th after time penalties there. With Revy and Starscream rounding out the grid. So to round up, AMH takes the victory from Iceman in second. Unfortunately 6 seconds back. He had a quicker lap though than AMH, so he'll get a point for that. Madhimovic in third rounds out the podium from D-Biggs in fourth. Big Boy Brazier in fifth from Suddy Apex sixth. Gary in seventh from KJ Argent eighth. TMLS ninth and Rocket in 10th. With Rebby 12th, Starscream 13th, and Jack in 14th with a 53-second penalty. I feel like that could be wrong, and that'll have to be looked at by the stewards. So what a fantastic evening of racing we had again here from the Class A drivers, live from Silverstone International Circuit. Iceman got things off to a good start with a victory in the Ginetta Juniors, followed by a victory from Madhimovic in the Clios, well deserved after a poor performance last week in Standard, apologies. And then Iceman won another victory in the Ginettas in the Supercup. AMH joined in then with a dominant performance in the Carrera Cup GB, and he's finished it off here tonight again with a victory in the Touring Cars Championship. Once again, I'd just like to thank all the sponsors: the Register Ginetta Junior Championship, Tintop Racing UK, Renault Clio Cup, the Hard Compound Ginetta GT4 Supercup, British Touring Car Chat Porsche Carrera Cup, and the BTCC Blueprints Touring Car Championship. Thank you to everyone who's watched and for all your comments. A quick flick through the comments here. Keegs got a 5-second penalty on the last corner. I'm sure if you have footage of that, Keegs, the stewards will have a look. Matt Himovic in chat, well done AMH and Iceman. Ben, great commentary as always. Bring on Wednesday night. Thank you very much, Matthew, for your comments. Really looking forward to next Wednesday now. Itching to get going. Mark Field in chat, thanks Ben for the commentary. Good luck next Wednesday night. Cheers Mark, appreciate the comments. Team LS, thanks for the commentary. No worries, look forward to racing with you next week, Team LS. Matt Himovic to close off the comments. Bring on Wednesday. Can't wait to see more action and content in such a good group of lads. Indeed, what a way to finish it off. Brilliant group of lads in both Class A and B. A fantastic night of racing again from the THR Racing League, this time from Class A, as the drivers begin to leave the lobby now after a fantastic evening. We look forward to seeing you all next week on the THR Twitch stream on Wednesday night for Class B action from Silverstone International after the postponement last night, and I will join you here again on my YouTube channel on Thursday night for the Class A action live for round 7 from Brands Hatch GP. 2 rounds to go, a lot of points still to be gained in all championships, all 5 of them. It's going to be an exciting end to the championship, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. That's all from me. My name's been Ben Phelan. Stay safe everyone, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.